Yes, people, before we get into this episode, just a quick one. My camera is out for this whole episode. I don't know what went wrong, but it just did not want to work for me. Obviously, my camera's not the one that's important. It's Chris's story that you're here to hear. So please enjoy the episode. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Yo, what is happening, everybody, and welcome back to the Chat Down podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and make sure that you jump in the description to make sure you do not miss the opportunity to jump on our live stream over on TikTok, where we do a madness every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, today we have a very special guest. He is probably the most versatile human I've ever met or spoken to. He takes on any genre that there is. He can write, he can sing, he can rap, he can produce. I don't think there's much else that there is that he can't do. Featuring on hit songs such as Free by Bad Boy Chiller Crew and Talk About It with Timeless. Coming off the back of his latest country EP, Bays and Boots, it's the one and only Chris Nichols. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, how you doing? You good?
I'm alright, man, bro. You?
Alright, brilliant. Yeah, not bad. So, obviously, just before we get into like your backstory about who you are as a person, what you do, just a quick one that I try to ask every artist before they come on here. If you could listen to one artist for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Does everyone else answer that question?
Well, I did one with Keon last year, and he didn't answer it. He just went anyone I want.
Oh man, that's different. That's like someone saying, "Who's your favourite singer?" It's like, if I could, there's loads of people. I'll just give you one. There's loads of people I could listen to forever. Probably Chris Stapleton.
Good shout.
Yeah.
So mine's always the same. Mine's always just Post Malone. It'll never change.
Yeah,
it'll never ever change. But yeah, so obviously I know Chris through connections through other artists that I've spoken to, worked with. I can't actually remember how we ended up speaking in first place. Do you remember?
Through Keon?
I think so. I know that Keon introduced me to a lot of different people. Yeah. But I can't remember who them people were, if I'm honest.
I'm not sure if it's been how many years. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It don't feel like it has because I haven't released anything for about 2 years. But it has been a while. I remember we did the Alone together, so we did that song together. I know you helped me write. You writ a lot of people don't know this, but you writ the chorus for Memories. Memories still feel the same. So, like, obviously, I remember us working on them together, but I never remember how we initially met. But if we go before all that, before everything, before all the music, before the big beard and the big studio, where are you from? Who is Chris?
I'm a Bradford lad from the heart of Bradford. I grew up in BD7.
Yeah.
Which BD7, we just say postcodes in Bradford. It's a bit of a weird one. Or for other people that don't know, postcodes, Legit Green in Bradford. Grew up with my mum, my grandma, my granddad, and my uncle. And then we moved from Legit Green. I moved with my mum. I think I were only quite young, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. We moved to Canterbury. Lived in Canterbury for a bit. Then my mum met my stepdad, and then they got together. And then we eventually moved up to Queensbury. And then I moved out about 4 years ago now. No, 5.
Yeah.
No, maybe even 6. And how old am I? Yeah, I think maybe about 5 or 6 years ago I moved out. And then I literally now I live kind of, there's a row of houses in between me and my parents, but I've got little siblings who are only 9, so it's kind of important for me to kind of, be present in their life.
Yeah.
I've got a younger sister, Tegan, who's just turned 20. So we've kind of grown up together, do you know what I mean? But for the little kiddies, like I don't have that much contact with them, so it's important for me to kind of stay near so I can still kind of be their big brother, you know what I mean? So
yeah, well, that family dynamic's important anyway. Like, I think especially in this kind of, we'll say, industry that you're in. a lot of people do lose that family dynamic. So to know that at someone's core, that's the most important aspect of no matter what they do, it's refreshing to hear. So I know a little bit about Bradford. I've got family from BD4, so I know about the whole. They only speak about postcodes and all that stuff.
Big up BD4.
Yeah, so I've got my dad was from BD4, up in Homewood.
Homewood.
Yeah, you know where Pittle Park is.
Yeah.
The street opposite that, literally, the street he was on backs up onto Pittle Park.
All right.
But yeah, so yeah, I know a little bit about that. So did you like have a normal mainstream school experience? You know, what was school like? Did you enjoy it? Were you one of the cool kids? Were you not? You know, what was school like?
School, geez. Primary school, interesting. My entire family pretty much worked in my school.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never even talked about this before. It's weird, that, isn't it? I don't know whether it was cool. I suppose when you're in primary school. So my mum was like a year 6 maths teacher or something.
Yeah.
My grandma was like a learning mentor there. So she used to I don't know, just look after kids when they were stressed out or whatever. My granddad and my uncle were the caretakers there. So like my full family there. So I couldn't do no wrong.
You were screwed.
Yeah, if I get wrong, I get told off at school, but then when I get home, I get right wallop.
You get home, it's like, yo, Chris.
off everyone as well. It weren't just like my mum's like, you've been bad today. My grandma, everyone. But yeah, primary school were all right, man. It were chilling. It were fine. I was just a good kid. I did really well at maths. Maths was my subject. I didn't really like English, but I smashed my SATs and then went to high school. I went to high school at Trinity in Halifax, obviously, because I live in Queensbury, so it was close to Halifax. High school life was okay. I had a bit of a chav. I weren't really that popular. I used to ride my bike to school. I had a nice group of mates that I don't really speak to anyone from school apart from one person, my mate Nathan. I'm my mate Chris. Yeah, I suppose there's a few people I speak to that I didn't speak to in school, but we went to the same school. Like my best friends now are like, we went to the same school, but we never spoke in school.
Yeah.
Kind of weirdly, and the people that I did speak to in school, like I saw a couple of my pals from school yesterday at that gig, and you know we always say hello to each other and whatever. It's really nice, but yeah, I would never say I was very popular. I was just a little bit of a weird chav kid who just rode his bike to school. If I'm honest, I just quite quiet, bro.
Yeah, I think everybody that grows up either in Bradford or Leeds, Halifax, the surrounding areas, is a chav during high school. But obviously, so the reason I ask about the high school experience and stuff like that is I like to try pinpoint where the passion for music started.
I'll tell you where, right? I'll tell you where it started. Where it started, the pinnacle of my musical experience, right? And I will never forget this person, right? And she probably don't even know that she's even like important whatsoever in my musical story. What she probably just didn't even realise what she said made me think, whoa, I'm gonna do music for the rest of my life. So there's this girl, right? She were just like me, just a quiet kid. We used to hang around back at school together. She was a bit different, a bit gothic. Loads of ginger hair. She used to live not very far from school. Her parents used to have this. Oh, I'm pretty sure they still do. They rescue lurcher dogs.
Yeah.
I've got a lurcher now. I love lurcher dogs. So I think I don't know. We just kind of gelled, man. She was just cool. Like, and she were a bit quiet, but we just gelled. I gel with quiet people usually, or people that are a bit quirky. She's called Charlotte, and I'll never forget her because I was singing one day. I was just round back at school, and I just sang a little bit of her tune. And she was like, that actually sounds really good. And then I thought to myself, I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe I can sing a bit. So then, literally from that point onwards, I went home. I'm pretty sure I got my guitar out. I went out to play guitar. I got a computer. I got a USB interface. Oh no, I didn't. I got a computer and a USB mic. I had about 6 guitars.
Yeah.
I had a proper setup at home. I didn't really know how to record, if I'm honest. I just had all the gear, and I probably recorded some absolutely dreadful songs, which I don't really have anymore. And yeah, that were kind of where I think that the pinpoint moment of where it all started.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's weird because you don't remember things like how old must I have been? Maybe 14, 15. And I think and it was just like just an offhanded just a comment. You know what I mean? Like she probably won't remember, but I do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I
It was
think,
just like,
yeah, it is crazy how, like, such a small thing can change, like, the entire trajectory of your life. Like, for me, it funny. I think I've shared this story once before, but I got dared to make a song. That's the only reason I ever made music in the first place at the ripe age of 26. So I didn't start. I loved music my entire life. So I played Simba in The Lion King in school production.
yeah.
And it was one of them proper bravado moments, you know. I come home, I thought I was so clever when I did this, but I really wasn't. I walked in and I went to my mum. I went, "Oh, I got Simba's dad's part." I don't know why I said it at all. I didn't. I got the main part. Obviously, family were excited, but I had a really bad experience at high school. But that's for another podcast. And then when I started listening to, have you ever heard of C Wood?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so Seawood's one of the people that I got introduced to through my engineer. I was telling people to, you probably saw it way back when, I was telling people to jump on this challenge that he did. And he basically just said, instead of telling people to join it, just do it yourself and stop being a coward. The rest's history. But yeah, so obviously you got the love for music at quite a young age. Which is, I suppose, I mean, I disagree if you don't agree with this statement, but I suppose that's quite common with music. A lot of people do find that love for it at a very young age. Of course, it isn't unheard of that people find that passion later on.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think so. I think I think people almost try and brag about it, which I think's a weird situation as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah,
Because I know quite a lot of famous musicians, or quite a lot of musicians will be like, they'll want to make themselves seem better, or there's some sort of self gratification they get from doing music for longer. Like you'll notice, like I don't know, X Factor or some other stuff, or like TV shows about, oh yeah, I've been doing music since I was 3, and it's like, wait, no, you haven't. I've been singing since I was 3. Every child sings when they're 3 years old.
yeah,
Jesus Christ. Do you know what I'm saying? What people are asking is when you started doing it seriously, like when you sat down and wrote your first song, you
yeah,
weren't 3 years old, were you? Like, get over it. Do you know what I mean? People will always say this and that. Bro, I couldn't sing. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I didn't know I could sing in primary school. I used to do my assemblies and I used to sit and sing fucking conkers. I'm collecting conkers. Like every child does, bro. And I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, yeah, I've been singing since the ripe age of 4." I started singing. I didn't even start singing, bro. I was just singing an Ed Sheeran song right back at school, and someone said, "Oh, you sound quite good actually." And I thought to myself, "Oh, do I?" So then went home and learned how to play guitar and started singing. I didn't even record a song. I went to my mate's house, right, that were a couple of years above me. It had his full house set up like a recording studio. There were
yeah.
absolutely no need for all those wires. Now I just have a laptop and some monitors in a box.
Yeah, I'm not
Do
going to
know what
show
I mean?
you. I'm not going to show you my mess then.
Yeah. It's so simple. But I went to his house and I recorded 3 songs. I think I was 17. After I was 17, I went to uni for a year and did music, and then I didn't do music until I did Bad Boy Chiller Crew stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the reason, obviously, like, because one of the things I was just going to ask, but you kind of just answered it, were, like, obviously starting at a young age and then, trying to progress, like, was there any adversities that, like, come up in that time period that were, like, I don't know, I don't want to say made you want to quit, but kind of just like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Right, I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I think that's the biggest thing for people.
Yeah,
People, I used to think in my own head, people say it takes years to do this and that, and I used to think in my head, well, if I get the equipment, I can just do it. Boom. But back then it was so much harder because the equipment wasn't as easily accessible. The information wasn't as easily accessible, and the money wasn't as easily accessible. I was 17, just come out of school. I was 14, 15. I had a weekend job. I used to earn £20 every Saturday working at I were a bike mechanic, and I was shit at that. Do you know what I mean? He just used to have me clean shop and make teas, bro, because I were absolutely bollocks. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, um, but yeah, like I didn't have any money. I didn't have any idea what I were doing. I just kind of I had a bit of gear, or I got some free gear off my mates that were doing bits and bats. And the only adversity was I just didn't actually know what I were doing. I didn't have a mentor. Instagram weren't as big. There were the YouTube war, but like we're talking 12 years ago, bro. Like I don't even know if Instagram were Instagram, even if I didn't even
I
have
don't.
social media. I think I had Bebo
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
say I
maybe
think it would
Facebook.
be Bebo and MySpace and stuff back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there were no one showing you how to set up a fucking. There were no focus rights. There were no one showing you how to set up a USB interface. There were no one showing you how to, I don't know, plug in a mic, or how to set up Logic, or even how to like just anything. They were not there, bro. I don't think they were a
Yeah.
lot accessible for me. So I didn't know what I were doing. So I went to uni and did it for a year, and even still, I didn't really know what I were doing there. I was just winging life. I just wanted to do music. Um, so I dropped out of uni, and I just worked. And when I
Yeah.
was working, bro, I was just more interested in going to the gym and having a girlfriend.
Like every young lad is. Um,
I didn't care. I wasn't bothered for music. I could still sing, yeah, whatever, but I just work. I didn't care about it enough to do out.
yeah. So you mentioned a minute ago, like obviously you only really started doing it fully when you started doing the stuff with Bad Boy Chiller Crew.
Yeah,
So, I mean, for someone like myself, that's like so. It sounds like a dream for someone like obviously that's just starting out. Because
yeah.
I'm, how does that even come about? Like, how do you end up? I know that obviously they're a massive part of the boom in the Bradford music scene. What happened a couple of years back, but
Yeah.
what? How does it happen? Did you know
So
them? Like,
no, so my really good friend Tom Fox, I'll name it Tom Fox. Shout out Moorcroft Studios in Cleckheaton for all your recording needs. Listen, I started going to the studio, Moorcroft Studio over in Cleckheaton. Um, that was when I kind of started doing music again. It must have been what, maybe 4 years ago now.
yeah,
That was when Chris had a little beard and used to wear bucket hats, and were right skinny. Um, and I started going, and it was just that were kind of when I kind of I just got back into it. I think I'd made 2 songs. They were weird, bro, as well. They weren't even like they were like I don't know, like chill pop vibes, bro. They were weird. They were shit.
yeah,
They were absolute bollocks. But obviously, Tom knew my potential. Tom knew that I had like for a man with a beard and a bald head, I've got a ridiculous range. I sing like a woman, basically. Um, and Tom kind of knew this, and he got a call from Tactics, their producer. And he basically said, "Oh, have you got any? Like, I need a singer for this song. Have you got any good singers?" So Tom was like, "Oh yeah, I've got Chris here." I was like, "Oh no, we need a female," and he was like, "No, just yeah, you might need a female, but just listen to him. Sounds like a woman." So I sang it down phone to him. I sang it down phone to him, and I think it was week after I were in studio with Tactics and we recorded it.
oh. So did you actually like go in the studio with them, or was it just one of them situations where you kind of just went
No,
in, did
it was
your
just their
bit?
producer Tactics. He bought me a pizza.
Well, I mean, summer. So obviously, like for anybody that don't know what that song is, it is quite a big, well-known song. It did its rounds for a bit. I was sick of hearing it by the end of it. What did that do for you, and like did it help, or did it put you in a box where you were kind of associated with that kind of music, or like what did it do for you as an artist?
Um, not a lot really. It gained me some followers on Instagram.
Yeah,
However, I just got back into music.
yeah,
I'd made 2 songs. They weren't released. I didn't have a Spotify. I had nothing. I didn't have this studio. Obviously, I had nothing. I was living down in King Cross in Halifax with my bird. And no, I don't. I'm glad. I'm glad it happened, right? Because it's an unmissable opportunity. It's an opportunity that I would never say no. So even if I did it for free, I'd still say yes because of I think the most important thing it brought me was leverage.
Yeah.
With networking with people, it brought me some sort of credibility. You know, if you go to someone, if I went to someone without any credibility, I just started music again, right? Just me, right? If I went to a big artist, whoever it, S-Dog, Tom Zanetti, someone like that, and I said, "Can I sing for you?" Or, you know, I sent him a message or whatever, and was like, "Oh yeah," da da da. They won't even bat an eyelid, bro. They won't care.
Yeah.
Whereas now I've kind of got this under my belt and I've got all these millions of streams and I've done this and I've done that, and you know the song was massively successful, and it gives you that leverage to think, oh, you know, you've got all this displayed on your profile, and if I sent someone a message, it gives me that little bit more leverage, a bit more favourability to think, oh, this guy's serious, or he's done this, or oh, I've listened to this song, what, that sounds sick, oh yeah, I'll definitely have him.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've not got anything to show, then people are a little bit more sceptical. I still have the same talent now I have, like 4 years ago, if not probably more, because I've kind of refined what I know and what I do now. But I think, yeah, it definitely gave me more leverage, and it made it easy to work with people and easy to network. I used to send them a message and say, look, listen, this is my latest track. It's done so many streams, because that's really what people care about.
Yeah, numbers. It's a big thing in this game now.
Fucking hell, I know people that can sing a lot better than me and that are still struggling. You know, it's just one of those things, innit? But numbers usually talk. People like to see numbers because they want to make money. That's usually the end goal for most people, innit, in music.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I use that as kind of leverage to work with a load of different people. But I think my biggest problem then was I was tied to a certain genre. And realistically, in my heart, did I really want to sing bassline songs? I can do it really well, wonderful. I can sing like a female. I can sing any female-led song you want me to sing. But realistically, were my heart right? Were it in the right place? Did I know who I was? Did I know what I wanted to do? I was just still a Chava kid. I was just a little chav that used to wear fucking Henleys and bucket hats, bro, and fucking, you know, Henry Lloyd. I didn't know who I was, bro. I think that's the biggest problem. If I'd have known who I was, I would have been able to utilise that exposure so much better.
Yeah.
However, it is what it is. It's not country music. I classify myself as a country/pop artist now.
Well, yeah, that is one of the things I want to get into a little bit further on, is the country stuff, because it's one of the main things that since I've been watching you that you've done that's really grabbed my attention, and not to mention how good you sound on a lot of them tracks. Like it is definitely meant for you. So you were in the music video, weren't you, for free?
Yeah, I went both of them. You just couldn't. I mean, the first one, it was supposed to be like we had our own individual set. Gareth Kelly, being the showman he is, wanted his individual set, so he fucking got what he wanted, didn't he? But no one. You can see me in the music video. I'm walking downstairs. I've got girls laid all over me. Luckily, at this point, I was single. I was just kind of speaking to someone. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a bit of an awkward situation. Anyway, when I was like, oh, yeah, if you see a girl sitting on my lap in video, I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, there's bits. You can see me. I'm walking around Ilfracombe down in Devon with them, and I'm quite clear there. I've got my glasses and my little bucket hat on. And there's loads of clips of me, but none of me actually singing. So that's another thing. I say exposure. It gave me exposure. I was obviously featuring Chris Nichols in the music video, but then again, you've got to understand that there weren't any clips of me singing, so people thought it were just. They just thought I was just a person. Yeah, featuring Chris Nichols. They just thought I were in the video. No one realises it were me singing it, and I had to prove it many times because I look like this, but I sound like that. So people are like, that's not you. That's not you. Like, I'm literally there in the video, and it literally says featuring Chris Nichols, and in the description it says vocals Chris Nichols. It's a tedious thing of having to prove to someone that you sang your own song.
Yeah, pardon me.
Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, even touching back on the exposure thing, I didn't get as much exposure as I thought I would have done, for the simple fact that me and my dad were talking about this last night, the Susan Boyle effect. I don't look how I sound. So people obviously saw me in that video and thought, yeah, well, it's up, like, they would never think, oh yeah, that guy with bucket hat on singing this song.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just It was good, and it was good. It was good. You know, I would never complain about it because you know it's kind of what it did give me a little bit of a boost into my career and stuff. But yeah, I suppose I could never say I regret anything. Otherwise, if I do regret something, then I won't be in the position I am today, which I feel like I'm pretty happy and blessed to be in, if I'm honest.
Oh, sorry, I just had a bit of a coughing fit. I had to turn my mic off. Yeah, so when at that point that you actually got to meet them?
When did I meet them? Well, I can't remember. I met them so many times.
Yeah, because I was going to say, obviously, like, if you didn't get to meet them in the studio, I was just wondering if that was, like, the first time. So was the conversations between you and them to, like, create this song how they wanted it, or was it just the producer decided, oh, you're going on this song, you're going there, and that's it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like, the producer was obviously the tactics, I suppose, kind of has main control of the song. They've done their bit. He just needed a singer. So they don't really need to do anything with songs, you know what I mean? So it was just down to him. And he found me and I sang it, and then that was kind of it, bro. I can't remember the first time I met him. I can't remember whether it were at studio, but anyway, yeah, we met loads of times. We met at studio, we've done other songs, we've gone to Chairworks as well. We had a massive studio session over there, like a multi-million-pound studio, which was really nice. And we went to Devon together, obviously. Yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah, I suppose it was cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm not going to say I didn't, yeah.
Brilliant. No, so another one of the a very big song that you were a part of, which happens to be my partner's favourite song.
Yeah.
You know, is the song with Timeless. Pardon me. The Talk About It.
Yeah.
Was that before or after? I'm assuming it were after.
Yeah, that were after. Yeah.
Yeah. So after. How were that? Was that an interesting experience? Let me just say as well, it is one of the only songs I've ever listened to with my partner, and she did not believe at all that it was the person I said it was, for the exact reasons that you said earlier, which I want to get into a little bit more. When you hear that song, it's so like it's a very, very powerful tune. And obviously you mentioned that before to myself that it's around mental health. How was that, again, similar situation? They just reached out to you, or was this someone you already knew?
I think me and Timeless connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're in the process of actually Well, I say remaking. I've actually remade it. We've done like a live version, so I remade it. So basically, the original version, I have remade it from start to finish with instruments. So I've inputted acoustic, bass, drums, piano, electric guitar. I've had to learn everything, and I've remade the entire song. And we've remade like a kind of band version of it, alternative version. So that'll be probably coming out soon.
I just make sure our last one that one should be booting my door down. But no, it's such a good tune that, like, oh, that'd be awesome if you do that. If you're doing that, well, if you've done that.
Yeah, and I think to be fair, I think Free's great, but I think that's probably one of my most important tunes. And I think because it's mental health so prominent these days, it's like being massively recognised all of a sudden, and everyone's going mad about it. So. Yeah, it's about ADHD and struggling with mental health issues, which is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. So, it's a brilliant song, and there'll be another version coming out soon.
Ah, brilliant! Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that, and obviously when it does come out, I'll be one of the first to share it. Make sure that everyone around me sees it. I'm like, yeah, I've interviewed this guy. So, obviously, when we go through all them, that's not you. The reason I wanted to get them out of the way is, you know, people normally get just labelled with them, like the big songs that happen. to me, I know you as somebody that can sing very well like country songs. I used to watch your covers on YouTube. I can't remember which was the first one I watched, but the first one I watched it, and I'm like, there's no way that that's his voice. And then obviously I started speaking to you. I got to know you, and you'd send me voice notes and stuff like when we were making stuff ourselves. And I'm like, that's how. But how do you find out that you're actually that versatile?
I guess it comes from trial and error. Like, I've got my own studio, and check this out. So before Bad Boy Chiller Crew, I was making like chill pop songs, right? And
Yeah.
they were shit. They were shit. But I could write, and the melodies were good.
Yeah.
I did chill pop, and then I did bassline, organ house, and then I carried on doing that, and then I did drum and bass, and then I started to do more pop, R&B stuff, and then obviously like at the same time I think it's because I do covers. I do covers of songs that are really popular at that time. So like just recently I've done Sapphire by Ed Sheeran and Arijit Singh, and I speak a little bit of Punjabi, so I sang it because I can speak a bit of Punjabi, so I sang in Punjabi. I've done songs that I can speak fluent Ukrainian, so like I've done songs in Ukrainian and loads of different languages and loads of different genres. So I think the covers are the things that have helped me be more versatile, because I've had to sing Ed Sheeran, but then I've had to sing drum and bass Becky Hill songs, and then I've had to sing like Stevie Wonder over piano instrumental. So I think
So you've kind of picked it up through going, I can do that. Like, yeah. So obviously now you're on the country road, shall we say? You know, what made you make that decision? Like, is it something you've always wanted to do? Like, if you always wanted to be a country singer, like, what led to that process of like being like, no, do you know what? No matter what other people think, this is what I want to do. This is the direction I'm heading.
I've always liked country music. I've always listened to country music. From a very young age, like, I think even the community that I've grown up in, and my community and my heritage, and there's a lot of factors that come into play with country music. And I think age as well, bro. I think I've grown up a bit.
Yeah.
I think I've got old. Like, look at the size of my beard. Do you know what I mean? It's just unnecessary, but it's something that you'd only see in a person that's of a certain age. I think I've just got a bit older and a bit more. I don't know about mature, actually. That's probably a lie. But I've got older and a little bit more settled. And I think I was just kind of thrown into music. Like, boom, there you go. Millions of views. Boom. And like, I didn't know what kind of music. I didn't know who I was. And now I've had the time to sculpt my art, and I've had the time to trial and error. I always say this thing to I'm actually a teacher full time, so I always say this thing to my kids. I didn't know I liked mayonnaise till I tried it, because I had this thing. I used to hate mayonnaise as a kid. Oh, it's disgusting. And then I had some chicken with some mayonnaise, and I literally have it on everything now. So it's trial and error, innit? I think it's trial and error. Like, I didn't know where I fit. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I think over this past kind of few years, I've built myself up to a position where I've now got a studio, I've got instruments, I've got equipment, I'm gigging every weekend, I've got all my business cards sorted, my merch sorted. I've got a proper a brand. I've got a proper a brand now. I've got an image. My image is like consistent and it's good, and I can't not look like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I've just got to the point where I've plateaued. Maybe not plateaued. I've reached the pinnacle.
Yeah.
I finally got to the point, right? I've got everything I need, and I've had the time to work on myself. And now they've both met in the middle. I've got everything. I've worked on myself, and now I know who I am. Do you know what I mean? I think I just needed that time. I was just thrown into music, so it worked like I actually had time to discover what what I wanted to do and what direction I wanted to take my music. I've always just been thrown into stuff, and I've just been navigating my way through genres to kind of find something that I want to do. And I think it is an age thing as well. I've got a bit older, a bit slower. I like a little. Speaking to me 5 years ago, bro, I'd have been like, country music. No, I want fucking bassline.
Yeah, so obviously you've just released the new EP Bears and Boots.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I've heard it all. Look, I got to hear it before everyone else. Just saying. What was the first off? What does that name mean to you? Like what was the process behind naming it?
I think what really kicked off my country, well, not kicked off, but what made me think, ooh, well, just a bit of realisation in my life. I understand why people wear boots all the time. Why cowboys, why people in America, why workmen wear boots. Because they're so good. They're just so durable, and you can wear them, and they still look kind of cool. They still look nice, and
Yeah.
there's no fuss. The shoelaces don't break. You don't have to buy a new pair every 6 months like you do with trainers. And if they get dirty, they kind of look cooler. I bought myself a pair of boots, and I wrote a song about my boots.
I mean, you can't get more real than that.
I didn't know, they're just sick. I just thought, I'm going to buy these boots. By the way, beautiful brand. Beautiful brand. If you need any workwear tools, go to Ox. They're absolutely mint. Anyway, I've got a load of tools from Ox and all sorts of stuff. I thought, you know what, buy a pair of these boots. They look nice. But best things I've ever invested in, mate. 45 quid. Can't go wrong.
If they work.
Kick a door down with them. Do garden in them. Ride a bike in them. You can do out in them. I love them. I just love boots. So I wrote a song about my boots because I fell in love with them when I got them.
So, yeah, so the first song on there, She's a Devil.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favourite ones. Again, when I first heard it, I'm like, I've heard this song. I already know how good it is. Like, you know, the songs are all, they're all now matching. They're all very country. However, you do have some that kind of take it to like a little bit more, like you can kind of party to them. So Elevator Music, again, amazing tune. How do you pick? Because I know through talking to you, you record a lot of songs.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
How do you actually pick what song goes into that EP? Because, you know, of course, an EP doesn't have loads.
Some proper nice, really good answer.
I am.
I don't know. I just picked the 4 that were kind of the closest. I thought, right, I'll put Elevator Music. So I actually previously released Elevator Music and She's a Devil. They did about 6,000-7,000 plays each. I don't promote anything. I didn't do anything. I just put them out. And then I deleted everything because I had a complete rebrand. I've got brand new merch. I've got brand new business cards. All my socials have changed. Everything's changed. I needed a rebrand.
Yeah.
So I rebranded. Yeah, I suppose I just kind of, I don't know. I just thought,
they'll work. Put them there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you've just obviously talking about branding. You're talking about like the you've gone through that rebrand. But I do have a question for kind of when you've obviously from the beginning. You know, you've grown up in Bradford. The Bradford scene has a lot of MCs, a lot of like, you know, them kind of artists. A lot of people don't know, but the reason why when I created my brand, I went by my name was because of you. Because I'd seen that somebody else had done that. Because I never wanted to have this alter ego, this different persona. I just wanted to be me, and people either liked it or they didn't. What made you decide to stick with just your name? Because I do find that one quite a rare thing to see. I've got a friend who, you know, randomly, is my friend Rhythm Roo.
Oh yeah, no, I think I know who that is.
I
Yeah.
don't, and this is a conversation that we've had numerous times, and the conversation will normally be, because I've been one of them that's gone and says, oh, I should have a rap name, this, that, and other, and he goes, no, because you've already put it out there now. That's what people know you as. Whether it's one person or 100 people or 1,000 people, that's who they know you as. But I just always wondered what the process is behind that. Obviously, because what you do is a big brand. Like, you have a brand. Like, your music is you.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of unapologetically myself, bro. And if you know me, I'm just kind of I don't. It'd be weird if I had a nickname because everyone just knows me as Chris.
Yeah.
It's just kind of it, bro. I didn't see the name. I'm not one of those people who has a fucking stage name. Sometimes I think it's a bit weird. I don't know. I don't want to insult anyone, but yeah, I think it's a bit. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Sorry,
I agree with you. I fully agree with you, because it's kind of, to me, I see it as, it's like, you kind of, you're not accepting that you're the person that's creating that music and you're the person that's creating this brand. You're kind of hiding it behind an alter ego, so to say. I suppose you can get away with more if you've got one of them, but
But then people don't. This is what confuses. So Teddy Swims, for example, we'll use his name as an example. He's not called Teddy Swims in real life. People think that's his real name. That's not his real name.
I
He
thought that
made
was his
that
real
up.
name as well.
No, he made that up. I don't even know his real name. It's like it's something weird. It's weird, but that's not his real name. And I think what's weird is I get that you might want to dissociate yourself from who you are and your music, but why? That's where the authenticity comes from. Is you being 100% yourself,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like that's just my opinion, bro. Like I'm not going to say everyone's weird for having a. I think it's a bit weird for myself. Yeah, I'm not saying anyone's weird for having a stage name, but for me, you can go on Google and you can find out Teddy Swims' real name. So what you're really hiding?
Yeah,
Why?
that is a very, very valid point. I didn't think about it like that. It's not like it's a secret. So yeah, I get that. So obviously, I think that's one of the ones that I listened to recently. Re-listened to one of your Teddy Swim covers.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it in the background, and again, every time I listen to any of your songs, it's like, who's that? And I try to explain to her, oh, do you remember when I did that song like that alone, and I was speaking to that guy on WhatsApp, and they were sending me by, like, no, it's not, he ain't gonna work with you. I'm like, what are you on about? It's like, everybody's just people. Like, he does have all these, and that's one of the things I think's really great about you. You have numbers. I've looked on your Spotify. You've got the numbers on there. You've got the numbers on YouTube. You have the brand, but yet you're still willing to give people that are, just trying to figure things out a chance.
Right, listen, fucking hell. Do you know, like, even now you're talking about me like that, I fucking hate it, bro. I hate it because who am I? What, am I better than you? Because I've got some numbers on Spotify. I'm a fuck knows, do you know what I mean? Or I know there's some sort of hierarchy, and I get that. There has to be in some situations, right? I'm not going to lie, but I'm not a prick. Like, someone wants a bit of help or someone wants to talk to me about something. As long as you're respectful, then it's fine. I'm a human being at the end of the day. It's literally my job to network. Like, I might network with someone who is the most dreadful singer in the world, right? They would just want some advice. I give them a bit of advice. And they might go home and say, oh, this guy's messaged me back, and show them on my video. Their mum might then show that my video. She might share my video on Facebook. She might have a small company that has 10,000 followers. She might share my video then to her 10,000. Do you know what I mean? It's a networking game at the end of the day. And listen, it don't cost out to just be fucking nice to people. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a prick. I am maybe sometimes, but you'd have to disrespect me first. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
still humans, bro. The numbers don't matter. What is realistic? It's a few numbers on a screen, bro. If Spotify went down tomorrow, what would I have? Fuck all.
Yeah, that is very true. No, I just, obviously, I know you're saying like you don't like people saying that, but I just think sometimes people do deserve the flowers, and obviously deserve that little bit of like, this is what you actually do for people.
Yeah.
Being one of them people, I think it's fair that I can say that, because obviously I've been on the receiving end of that kindness.
Yeah, I don't listen, but I don't even think I don't see even there. I think you're wrong. I don't think I was being kind. I just think I was just being a normal human being, bro.
Yeah,
If anyone came to me and said, "Can I have some help? Could you help me write this song? Could you do these vocals for this track?" As long as I had time to do it, yeah, sure.
yeah,
I'm not bothered. I don't care. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that I've worked with that I've charged, but that's because like I don't know you from anywhere. If someone gets referred to me, like for you example, coming through at Keon, and majority of the people that I've worked with, like if it's like the first time working with me, usually there'll be a bit of a charge. But at the end of the day, usually I'll be like, right, listen, it's just to stop you from fucking about and to make sure you're serious. This is how much I cost to do this. And usually by end of it, we're fucking mates because we spoke so much, and I never charge them again in their life. Do you know what I mean?
no, it's nice to hear. Just going a little bit off of the alter ego thing and speaking about people that like to have stage names, I am aware you have made some songs with. I don't know if you still make songs with them, whatever, of somebody that was quite well known around, especially where I grew up when I was younger, and that is MC Chippy. Yeah, so obviously it was a big name down here. Everybody heard that song, that back of my car, I got your girl in the back of my car. Everybody's heard it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody I know that's never heard that song. Again, how do you like end up being in a situation where you're working with somebody that was so big at one point, and then the kind of just, I'd not heard of them for years until you mentioned that you were doing stuff with them.
I think that was kind of the start of his career again when I messaged him and I was like,
Okay.
I saw him and I was like, he he got religious, didn't he? He reverted to Islam and he did his thing, and then I think he'd kind of, I don't know, he must have got bored. I don't know, but he wanted to do music again. So I kind of caught him just at the start up of when he was coming back. And we made Free together. Shout out Mikey B as well for production. And then I produced a few more songs that we did. We remade Back of My Car, which never got. Well, did I put it on Spotify, SoundCloud? Maybe I did. I think I put it on SoundCloud actually. Maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's on SoundCloud, but it's not on Spotify. Yeah,
we remade Back of My Car. I remade a few things for him. We did some old school bangers, that were released through summer. And then we had a bit of a fallout because I did a song that said something. I remember that Venby song. It says, "I heard Jesus did cocaine on a night out."
Yeah.
I did that, and obviously Jesus is his prophet, and he got a bit offended by it. And I'm like, bro, it's just a song. Listen, like, I don't know how you're offended. Be offended at the person that made the song, not me. I've just fucking covered it. And he's like, how could you do that with all your Muslim friends and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, you're the only one that's offended. None of my Muslim mates give a fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they don't. It were already a song. I just covered it. They're not going to fucking shun me or not be my mates anymore. So yeah, we kind of had a bit of a fallout about that. And then we just kind of went our separate ways, and Chippy did his own thing, and got with Cruisy T, and then with Fat B, and he were with Bad Boy Chili Crew for a bit, and then he just kind of never spoke to me. To be fair, I feel like he did use me a little bit, but it were kind of not a bit of an idol, but I suppose it was just kind of like, well, that's MC Chippy who made Back of My Car. Like, it was something that we all grew up listening to.
Yeah, it were known. Like, that's what I mean. That's why the whole shock of it were there when I'd heard his name again, and I'm like, wow, I've not heard his name since I was like in year 7. I remember sitting on the sports pitch and we'd be infrareding or Bluetoothing the song to each other because we couldn't do what you can do now. And then obviously when you mentioned his name again back when you were making them songs. Yeah, I do think it is on SoundCloud because I think that's where I re-listened to it.
Yeah.
Because obviously since we had our last conversation where we've gone back and forth with songs, I've got a new phone, so they're all disappeared. But obviously, like, so it were kind of like, whoa, like that's my youth culture. That's like my youth coming back, like all tenfold. And then I've not heard of any of them since. Obviously you've got these artists that come and then they go. But it was such a shame at the time because I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Like, someone that I really look up to is like doing a song with like someone I grew up listening to. And it's just like, oh, it's gone. I'm kind of like, oh, well, that's that gone.
I feel like maybe I'm a bit of a curse, because I did that song with Bad Boy Chiller Crew, and then they've pretty much like, they've kind of, I don't want to be rude and say fallen off, but like they've fucking, like they're not there anymore. They're not as prominent as they were at all whatsoever. Like they've not released anything for ages.
Well,
Chippy's not even in Bradford anymore. He's like moved to Middlesbrough and he's got his own studio out there, and he owes people a lot of money. I think that's why he's moved out there. But we won't talk too many politics. But
obviously so I get obsessed with stories, and one of the things I got obsessed with was the Bad Boy Chiller Crew stuff. And I can't remember what they were called. I think it's Faz and Mole Grip. I think they're called.
Faz and Mole Grip, yeah. They were the original Bad Boy Chiller Crew.
Well, I watched them do a podcast. I can't remember what podcast it was, but I watched them speaking about it all on there. And it's money. Sometimes people can handle money, sometimes people can't, and they'll either thrive from it or they'll throw it under. I could say, they're not going to come for me because they don't know who I am. They don't know my name. They can't hurt my brand. It's fine. But yeah, so no, I just always get interested in that. But enough about them. They're not the ones that we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about you. What's next for you? Like, what are your plans? What are you planning on doing more shows? I want to see a Chris Nichols headline show. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think I need to. So maybe solidify this a little bit better. Yeah. Country Thing's new, and it's kind of like doing really well on socials. My YouTube's doing really well. I'm getting a lot of views. My SoundCloud's doing exceptionally well, surprisingly. I think I'm just getting to the point now where, like I said, not plateaued, but I've got to the point where everything's getting sorted, and I must know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like the things with my most recent releases and stuff, like with my covers, I can release a cover within under 24 hours of it being released, quite easily.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm taking full advantage of every single stream or every single time someone might type in that into YouTube or Spotify or SoundCloud, upload to Spotify covers. But SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, I take full advantage of it. So Ed Sheeran released Sapphire with Arijit Singh. I put the song out 24 hours after that. And one of my shorts recently, I've just literally woke up this morning, it's done 30k views. Like straight up, just 30k views, which is pretty good.
It's a lot. It's a high number, yeah.
But literally just like in no time at all. But just even things with like hashtags, descriptions, SEO for YouTube. You get so many people messaging you on Instagram about, I can help with your SEO, blah 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 blah. You think they're dodgy, right? You think they're dodgy, and this is maybe where sometimes I'm too nice, but I'll just make friends with them.
Okay.
Because SEO is actually really important. And it puts you in the algorithm. That's what puts you in the algorithm. That's how you get views. Not how you get views, but it's a massive help for you. If I do an Ed Sheeran song and I just put it there, that's it. I just put the title, no description, nothing else. It'll do shit. If you're talking about hashtags, putting lyrics, links to your socials, you're putting a good, strong title, a really good thumbnail, you're looking at YouTube tags, locations, everything like that, right? It's actually really important, and I didn't realise this till I had a conversation with some guy who messaged me about, I can help you with your SEO. I said, listen, bro, I said, I'm not going to pay you to run my YouTube channel. I said, can we just have a quick? Could you teach me a few things? I said, I'll pay you to teach me. So I sent him 20 quid on PayPal, and he literally sat down and we spoke 3-4 hours maybe, and he taught me everything he knew. And now I feel absolutely blessed because I kind of understand a little bit better of how it works and how the views work and how I can get myself in the algorithm and this, that, and the other, how to take full advantage of it. Like I Like I've taken 30k views since yesterday, and already I've put another video out on the back of that, so that should not do 30k, but the 30k will trail onto that video, putting a different snippet of the video out, so then they can kind of got a bit of a story as well, and how to hashtag it and what the title should be, and if there's any text on screen or whatever. So yeah, I think what's next? Furthering. Sorry, I go off on a tangent. It's me, isn't it?
No, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Probably just furthering my understanding and knowledge of everything, and then getting more country songs out, man. Just really solidifying that brand, really putting it out there that I'm a country artist. Doing a lot more gigs and stuff. Like I'm gigging every weekend anyway, bro. Usually, so but just really pumping and just making this absolutely as solid as it possibly can be. I'm a country artist. I'm from Bradford. I'm the only country artist I know from round here. And listen, anyone wants smoke in Bradford, right? On a singing level, I'll swish you all mush. There's not a chance. I'll smoke a lot of you. Don't test me. Yeah,
that's it. You've heard it here first. Well, obviously, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Due to obviously these being on Discord, these are not like the longest ones. For season 2, I am moving to an actual on-site studio.
cool.
So I would obviously love to take this opportunity to invite you back for that, for a much more in-depth, deeper conversation. I think it's a lot easier in person to do that. Obviously, make sure that you all go and stream Chris's new EP. I will put the links in the description. Obviously, all of his socials will be in the description. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we bounce?
If you're someone that's watching this and you are thinking about becoming an artist, or you're wanting to release your first song, or you're struggling with anything, just remember, reaching out is really simple. You just have to send a message to someone. If you're struggling or you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to release a song, you don't know how to mix, you don't know how to master, you don't know what sounds good, you can't write a song, you're struggling, whatever it is, just reach out to someone, because 9 times out of 10 someone will probably say, yeah, I can give you a hand if you want. And if they don't, the pricks, message me instead. I'll help you out best I can.
And believe me, the help does work. But yeah, no, absolutely pleasure to have you. Again, links will be in the description for all of Chris's socials. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one, and peace.